Like a lot of people in the world today, I have my own dreams and aspirations for my future. To settle down with my dream job and start a family. Like any respectable parent, all they want is what's best for their children. Even though I haven't had any, I want what's best for them when I eventually do. But I don't know if it will be possible for much longer, now due to the effects of climate change. The lives of future generations are at risk due to the emissions of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere from the burning of fossil fuels. If you want them to have the same opportunities to live a happy and healthy life, then action must be taken now. Now, firstly, you might be thinking, what is climate change? As mentioned before, climate change is a gradual change in Earth's climate due to the increase of greenhouse gases in the form of carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere, largely due to human activity. But how do we know this is the case? As mentioned in NASA's article, Global Climate Change, Earth's climate has changed a lot over the years. Just in the last 800,000 years alone, there have been 8 cycles of ice ages and warm periods, but attributed to small variations in the Earth's orbit. But we see a graph comparing the atmospheric carbon dioxide levels throughout the Earth's history. There is a large spike since the Industrial Revolution in the early 1800s, proceeding at a rate that hasn't ever been seen in this millennia. Due to the burning of fossil fuels such as oil, gasoline, and factories and cars has led to the increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Even other sources you would never expect increase the CO2 levels, such as cows farting. The evidence irrefutably shows it's caused by human action. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change states scientific evidence for warming of the climate system is unequivocal. There are countless pieces of evidence for the Earth's rapid change in climate. The Earth's average temperature has risen by 2 degrees Fahrenheit. The ocean water has also seen unprecedented heating, absorbing a majority of the heat trapped in the Earth from the greenhouse gases. We have seen the recession of glaciers, sea ice, and this leads to a rise in sea levels. This warming has also caused an uptick in the occurrence of natural disasters, such as hurricanes and tropical storms, having detrimental impacts on communities' lives and economies. And at first, some of these statistics may not be too alarming. A difference in 2 degrees shouldn't be a big deal. However, it must be looked at like a human body dealing with a fever. As the body's temperature rises from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 degrees, such minor changes in the body's homeostasis will cause it to shut down and lead to death. Much in the same way, these changes in climate will affect the well-being of our planet. In the article, Is It Too Late to Stop Climate Change by Evan Goodstein, if the world doesn't try to reduce emissions by around 50% by 2030, then the effects of global climate change will be irreversible by 2050. Now, with all of these gloomy details in mind, what have we done as a country, being the greatest contributor of CO2 emissions historically, in order to combat global climate change? We have had many different bills enacted in the past that induced small limitations and if anything just helped us get a better understanding of the statistical aspects of our impact on climate change. But in 2022, the biggest climate and clean energy bill in American history was enacted, the Inflation Reduction Act. It is directing $370 billion over the next decade to expedite the production of renewable energy and make massive reductions in greenhouse gas emissions. This bill is laid out in an article, What the Historic U.S. Climate Bill Gets Right and Gets Wrong by Alice Hill. As stated, the historic legislation invests in a variety of efforts to combat the effects of climate change, including low-carbon technologies, environmental justice initiatives for disadvantaged communities, and tax credits to promote electric vehicle sales. The IRA will be putting $27 billion into creating a green bank to finance clean energy, technologies, and emission-cutting infrastructures. Billions more go to climate-smart agricultural practices and clean vehicle manufacturing facilities. There will be additional funding for consumer programs, including the use of heat pumps, which are energy-saving systems that help regulate home temperature and will improve home energy efficiency. The IRA also directs $1.5 billion to reduce methane leaks from natural gas production. Congress will also be handing out $5 billion in grants to support fire-resilient forests, forest conservation, and urban tree planting. The bill also allocates several $billion in funding for drought resilience in western states. It even has some other positive aspects outside of climate change, such as lowering prices of prescription drugs and increasing medical benefits. However, there are some concerns about the bill as stated in the title, such as the clean hydrogen tax, which may prove to be more harmful as the use of hydrogen has proven to be an ineffective source of renewable energy, as well as a tether of offshore wind leasing to oil extraction. These negatives are definite missteps, but one common complaint that seems to occur again and again is, will it really help the economy? But according to a detailed picture of what's in the Democrats' Climate and Health Bill by Francesca Paris, It's supposed to reduce deficits by roughly $275 billion over 10 years. So while there are some parts that aren't perfect, overall, this bill is a step in the right direction. People are still worried about the economy and their money when it will serve no purpose if the world were to end due to our negligence. It is projected to lower emissions by 40% by 2050. It should be seen as a huge win for America's history. These are statistics that are important, and bills like this are a step the rest of the world needs to take as well. While part of the problem is solved, there is another that is not. Just in the US Congress alone, 139 of the elected officials still deny the scientific consensus of climate change, according to Climate Deniers in the 117th Congress by Ari Drennan. This is a mindset that needs to change not just nationally, but globally. The evidence should be undeniable, but somehow there's still speculation disagreeing with the common scientific consensus. The people in control of our countries and others need to have the right mindset towards our planet and our well-being. To ensure the safety of our planet and of its utmost importance, that we vote for the people who believe in science and the facts that our world is dying. We must do more to save it, rather than big businesses in our economy. It should be a united effort on all fronts to combat our truly greatest enemy, which is the pollution of our planet. If the rest of the world would commit to bills like the Inflation Reduction Act and voting the right people into power, we can make great strides towards making this grim outlook on the future a thing of the past, and ensure our future generations have a healthy world to live in.